Don't be afraid to sacrifice, even if it's just time or not going out that weekend. It takes a lot of focus to build a business. It takes sacrifice, it takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. There will be a lot of obstacles if you stick with it, and customer service is key. You can build something amazing.
What's up, y'all? I'm Lauren.
And I'm Adrienne.
And this is the Two Mics,
Two Glasses podcast, where two best friends discuss business ownership and life.
What's up, girl?
What's up? What's up? You feeling a little hungry today?
When am I not hungry? Let's talk about that.
Right. Yes, I'm hungry all the time. And our guest that is coming up is making me even hungrier because she's an amazing caterer.
Ooh, I like to see some creations, some catered creations.
Yes.
Check out her site
once we share it.
I'm going to call you girl, for real.
Right.
Let's introduce our guest.
Esteemed guest, yes.
Okay, we can say reader in though. That's a new.
Well, Two Mics slang. So Karizma Dickson is the owner and founder of Have Some Charisma, a catering company specializing in American fusion cuisine. Growing up, helping her mother with catering, her love for cooking began at an early age. With over 6 years in business, she has expanded Have Some Charisma from personal chef services and private events to a full-service company that caters to corporate clients, weddings, and more. Known for setting a high standard in both food and customer service, she continues to bring creativity, passion, and professionalism to every event. Welcome, Karizma.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yes, thanks for joining us.
Yes. So Karizma, me and Karizma have worked together for a while now. I can't remember how many years it's been, but I don't know. Karizma, do you know how long we've been
I
working
don't know
together?
either, but it's been a while. At least
It is.
3 years, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't even remember who referred you to me, but she's been a client of my company and we've been managing her website, and it's been really cool to see her expanding and growing and offering more services and stuff. So I'm really excited to have her today.
Yes. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. So we have a couple of questions to ask just to kick things off. First question, what books are you reading right now? Like, what is your favorite book right now?
So I'm actually trying to really get back into reading. I have a couple books that I've started, but I haven't finished. So I'm actually searching for the book that will just spark my reading curve back up. So if you have any recommendations, I'd be happy to take some. But
what type of genres do you like?
So I lean towards fiction or fantasy. I like stories, but I also like self-help books as well, just depending on the type. But it's actually been a while since I've actually sat down and read a full book. So it's actually one of my current goals that I'm trying to achieve, just find a book and finish it.
Yeah. What's our new book for book club?
Oh, the horror book?
Is it horror?
I don't know if it's horror. It's kind of, I don't know. I haven't started it.
I can't remember the title.
Horror sounds really fun.
Yeah, and I mean, you already are all themed with your Halloween.
I know.
I'm into it.
Well, once we remember the name,
we'll
send you the
or maybe
the
you can join book club.
Yeah, if you want, we have a little book club.
Little book club.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right, we'll be in touch.
We also have an episode referring to our favorite business and self-help books. So I don't remember what it was called, but
it was our top 20 best business books. So yeah. Some of those were self-help books on there.
Really good for business.
So yeah, that is, you can find that in the description of your episode or any other episode that we post.
I'll check.
Yes. check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, wherever you find your podcast.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Say
just
it
kidding.
a little louder for people in the back.
Okay, sorry. Back to charisma. Okay, question number 2. If you had any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation for sure. I've actually thought about this a lot in life. And teleportation would definitely be top of the list. I mean, I love traveling, so I mean, I could just go anywhere at any time. I would never be late. It would, teleportation.
I feel like that's a popular superpower.
Yeah. I think I would probably pick that one too. Like,
Teleportation?
yeah, well, like in this area, the traffic.
Yeah, so much time. Yeah.
And anything that's in your hand should be able to be teleported with you.
Yes. A suitcase. A person. Interesting. Okay. Last question. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a sweet red.
Oh.
Yummy, yummy.
A sweet red. Like communion wine? Oh, maybe it's a little better.
Communion wine is like grape juice. Sweet red is like,
Communion wine is a sweet red.
I guess it's a version of sweet red. I've had some really good sweet reds, especially some that have had like been a little carbonated, had a little bubble.
Yeah, a little bubbly.
My favorite. Little carbonation.
So we are drinking today. We're very blessed to have a sponsor today for our beverage of choice, our drink of choice. So we actually are drinking the Dream Sangria Amaretto Bourbon flavor.
Oh.
We had another episode where we were already drinking another type of sangria from the same line, but this is by Huck Spirits, Black-owned company. The flavor of this it's a smooth, sweet red sangria blend that combines the bourbon and amaretto in a new masterpiece. So we are super excited for Huck Spirits to be sponsoring us today, and you can check them out at huckspirits.com, and let us cheers to our episode.
Yes. And cheers to Karizma.
Cheers.
Okay.
That sounds good,
So-
by the way. I'm wondering.
It tastes delicious too. He distributes like in DC area and Baltimore area too. So if you ever want some, he's like local, which is awesome.
Amazing.
It's super nice too.
Dope.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. Karizma, kick us off. So I know I read your bio, but kick us off kind of just about your background and how you, got into catering and ended up starting your own company.
Okay. Well, it's like you read earlier, I got a really early start. My mom taught me a lot. She did catering growing up, so I got to watch her and kind of just follow in her footsteps. I would help her out with events and banquets, and she did a lot of church events. So any type of like celebration, anniversary party, banquets, we would, be doing that. And so I'd be like, oh, let me help you with this. Let me help you with that. I was actually homeschooled. So when we were doing school, like lunchtime, I would like take leftovers and create a new dish and just kind of experiment. I like baking cakes. And that love just kind of grew from a really young age. I knew I was like, I want to be a chef, and it never changed. So I've only ever worked in food service my whole life. I went to school for culinary. When I finished, I just started working restaurants, catering companies. I worked in a retirement home, but all of it was in the kitchen. Through my journey, I was like, okay, well, I really want to do my own thing. So I started doing personal chef dinners, small events, just on the side while still working full time. And so that kind of, built itself up, started building up clientele, becoming a little more consistent. After a few years of doing that, I quit all my jobs. It was 2018 that I did that. And I just went full time. That's when I started doing corporate catering, bigger events with like schools and weddings, things like that. Started hiring more staff. That kind of has just kind of built up and kind of blown up. I know when I first started, I said I wanted to be a chef. I wasn't exactly sure what that would look like because I could be a chef in a restaurant or, a chef at another catering company. There's so many different avenues, but it kind of just turned out this way, and I love it. It's what I do.
Awesome.
I know, I love that. So you kind of had a path from the beginning, which I think is kind of rare to know what you want to do
Yeah.
right off the gate.
Yeah.
In a sense, I guess when you started out, even though you started working, in all these different capacities in the kitchen, did you always know in the back of your head that you 100% wanted to have your own catering company one day because of your inspiration from your mom, or did you have to kind of develop that as you went along?
It developed. So at a point in time, I definitely wanted to at least experience like managing a restaurant, but that quickly changed after working in restaurants and just the chaos and bad management, things like that. It really like affects the work environment. So I was like, okay, well, I need to do my own thing. So it kind of built up. I mean, I didn't know that I would be doing corporate and big weddings and like catering for schools and large events. I just knew it was my passion, and it kind of just took me here.
What were some of the things that you did starting out to really like to establish yourself as a business? Like, I know you said that you were kind of doing it on the side. Were you a legal entity, or did you do that a little bit later?
So when I was doing it on the side, I was not a legal entity. I was using Thumbtack. I don't know if you guys have heard of Thumbtack. It was it's changed a lot over the years. It's very different now, more expensive. And I used it when it was like a lot cheaper, and people really gave me love on Thumbtack. That was a big help just in growing my clientele, my business, all of those things. It definitely influenced just the way I deal with customers. It taught me, okay, these are real people. You have to communicate, be responsive. So it was kind of a wake up call, just taking on everything like the admin. I have to make the phone calls, respond to the emails, all of those things. But it gave me a head start, and where I didn't have to actually go looking for the clients myself. Thumbtack was probably the very first thing I used to kind of expand. I've also had partnerships with like Easy Cater and like Cater to Me. They're platforms that connect like corporate offices with catering companies or restaurants. Yeah, I used those like a lot starting out, and it kind of got me in the door to certain places to where, okay, now we have a relationship built, so I can kind of go under them or over them, and you know, that's my client now.
That's a great strategy, is to find those websites that connect people to who they need.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you forget about that, and it's a really good way to get your name out there, especially when you're brand new. Like, you may have never met that person otherwise. And I think it was a very smart strategy to kick off with, especially since your industry is on Thumbtack. I actually really forgot about them. I think I used to use them for like maintenance work around the house.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful with Thumbtack. I had a bad experience with Thumbtack. So Thumbtack obviously has a lot of amazing like vendors like you, Karizma, but it also has a few people that can be like kind of scammy.
Yeah.
And so I had a property manager that was a scammer, and her reviews on Thumbtack were fake, which I found out a year after or months after I hired her.
Oh my goodness! So how did you, Karizma? Then, I guess you said you probably were on it a little further back, but like, how did you differentiate yourself from other people on there doing catering, and how did you make yourself not a scam, not look like a scam? Or was that even an issue back then?
So Thumbtack was very different back when I first joined. I'm actually not on Thumbtack anymore. They got really expensive, so I was like, I'm okay. But when I first started, there wasn't a lot of competition. I do feel like it's way more saturated now. But reviews, pictures, and clear pricing, I feel like for Thumbtack gets you pretty far. A lot less competition back then, I would say.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
wave early.
Yeah, definitely.
So now that you're like a full-blown, catering company, what are some of the tactics you're using to get clients now?
So now it's funny. I don't like pay for any type of marketing. So what I do is I'll make cold calls sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cold calls,
Brave.
and I'm trying to find somebody else to do it for me. So I'm looking for a virtual assistant. But
How do you, who are you calling? How do you know who to call?
so it's just based on the clientele I'm looking for. So apartment complexes, law firms, corporate offices. You can just call. I'll Google the number. Call. Like, is there someone in charge of events or someone head of outreach for the employees? Sometimes people hire us for employees. Those kind of events, or like, okay, we're an apartment complex. Our residents, we want events for them. So just depending on what type of events they have. I mean, we cater to anything. So just let them know we're available, send over a package via email, and hopefully they come back and, order some food. Yeah. So it's actually worked out. Yeah, it's worked out. It can be hit or miss, but at least they know about us. If they ever need something, it's in their email, the information.
Remind me to connect you to my sister. She is a corporate event planner with the association.
Oh yeah, they
and
can
I
partner.
think they do caterers all the time. I don't know like if they have preferred people, but I
Yeah.
think it might be a nice connect. So please don't let me forget to do that before we end our conversation, or before we get off. But I have a question. Okay, so as you're starting up, right, you're getting all these like big corporate clients. Like, what are some of the, I guess, permits or things you have to have in place to handle food? Because I know,
Yeah.
we're sole proprietors. I do accounting. Like,
Yeah,
I just needed an LLC.
And I used to have a food business,
Oh,
and we
you
were kind of
did?
like, we were doing it
Are
in
we
my
doing it
kitchen.
right?
Like, I don't know what license.
Yeah,
we
like, do you have to be licensed? Like, do you have to show proof that you make the food at a certain place, or what kind of insurance and stuff do you have to have? Could you just kind of fill us in on like the steps you had to take to make sure like you were able to work for these larger clients and like maybe more established corporations?
Sure. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that you have to have. A serve safe managers is one of them. So it's a test, serve safe test. There are a couple different tests, but it's like the highest level of testing. You have to take that test. You have to get a food manager's license. From that test, you'll get the license. You need a business license. So, a health inspection has to happen at a commercial kitchen before you get your license. I haven't done any like vending or anything like that, but if I wanted to do that, I would need a whole different license on top of what I have right now.
When you say vending, you mean like going to
Like events or like festivals. DC has a lot.
where people can try your food?
You
Okay.
sell the food, you might have a tent, you might even have a food truck.
Yeah.
It just depends on how.
like at Linganore.
Yeah, so it's big in DC. I'm actually currently in the process of switching from DC to Maryland just because the taxes are very high. Um, but
Like your licensing is in DC.
yes, my licensing is in DC. Yeah, so
Just renewing a business in DC is
Wow.
astronomical.
Yeah. What does that mean in regards to like this area though? Because with DMV, like if you in DC, there's people in Virginia that are hitting you up, people in Maryland that are hitting you up. Are you able to serve?
yeah, I can still service the DMV area. And I also, I've never actually formally looked into it, but the DMV is it's like a tri-state area. So it's you're in one, you kind of deal with all. I service the DMV, and the biggest difference for me is just the taxes. The way the kitchen system works is a little different too. DC has like 24-hour access kitchens, while Maryland, a lot of them aren't 24 hours. It's an hourly charge that you pay to be there, which is it's very different. Just the way things works is down the street, but it's just a different process. So definitely taking that day by day. I'm still in the process, but yeah, it's a lot.
So you needed
Of
Safe
license?
Serve
It was
license.
a lot of license.
The Safe Serve license.
Yeah.
You had to be a manager, a food manager.
Yeah.
You had to pass.
Hard.
Were those two separate tests?
So it's one test, and then from the test certificate, you have to take that, and then you get a card, which is the manager's license. Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so you get the manager's license through taking the safe service.
Yes.
If you want to vend, you have to have something separate for that.
Yeah, like a vendor.
And then a vendor's license. Okay, and
Is that per event, the vendor license, or like once you have it, you can vend it?
Multiple questions. I actually don't vend. I try to stay away from it.
No, okay.
But
why do you try to stay away from it?
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and sometimes you work hard and don't really get much of a return because it's based on just like, I guess, foot traffic and the sales you get from that based on whatever event. And you might be there with 20 other vendors, so the competition is pretty high. Catering is pretty, it's on the safer side. You don't spend the money and then hope to make it back. You just take the order and complete the order. So it's a little different than vending.
And they normally front the cash, like at least front some of it, so you're using other people's money to buy the material.
Exactly. Whereas with vending, you would be using your money and selling.
Yeah, it's like you pay to be there.
Like, you have to pay to be there, pay for the food to bring there, and then
cook it, some of it on site with maybe hardly any equipment, or it's just the equipment you have.
So that's a whole thing, and I kind of stayed away from it. So I've never even had a vendor's license. I only have the catering license. Yeah, even like the first steps, you have to go to the tax office and get like clean hands paperwork. It's a bunch of things, and I mean, I haven't had to do the complete process, and I mean, it's been years now, but those are just to name a few. There was
the clean hands. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
What's clean hands?
It's a certificate that shows you don't owe the government or any back taxes or fee. So you have to get that before you can like renew your business license or like get one altogether. You have to have that form.
I think that's a DC thing.
Is it?
Probably.
Pretty sure.
It sounds like a DC thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I know Maryland, like you can't really do much if your business is not in good standing, and that means you needed to file like some annual, report and stuff. So
listen, move to Virginia, okay? It's only $50 a year.
That's the only thing in Virginia that's $50. That is not true. Everything
that
else
is not
in Virginia
true.
is expensive.
My property taxes are lower than yours, I bet you.
Yeah, the taxes maybe.
Taxes are lower.
They may be.
I can open a business for $100.
I can't afford real estate in Virginia, unfortunately. Karizma, what were some lessons that you learned from your mom growing up with her catering business that you've, implemented into yours?
Oh, that was such a nice question.
Yeah, so I mean, my mom taught me a lot of just the basics. I feel like my customer service definitely stems from what I saw her doing. Customer service is everything. Because before I even go to an event, before my clients ever meet me, they pay their deposit, they book me before, any of those things. So it's being nice, pleasant, answering questions. She really taught me just how to deal with people. And then on the cooking aspect, she's taught me a lot. I really like baking, so I make desserts. She pretty much taught me everything I know there. She works for me now. She does all my desserts for my business.
Oh, wow. I love that. So cool. Family business.
No, it really is. I've hired siblings, like delivery drivers. I have siblings working for me. A cousin of mine works. So it really is a family business at this point. I like to bake leisurely. So I'll come up with like little pop-up specials to go on the menu. And me and her coordinate. Like I called her last week. I'm like, we need a seasonal menu. Like, do you want to try anything? She's like, I want to try pumpkin cheesecake bites. And I'm like, that sounds great. Like, let's put this on the menu. I put it on the menu. 2 days later, I got an order for it. So like we still.
Yeah, it sounds delicious.
I don't even like cheesecake, but I kind of want to try that.
It sounds amazing. Pumpkin. I think I had pumpkin cheesecake before, and sweet potato cheese.
You're making us hungry.
We
should have ate.
We are hungry.
Even still, we collaborate and help each other. It's just, yeah, I love my mom.
I'm sure you're enjoying this episode, but we wanted to quickly pop in to let you know about the cool swag we're wearing today. AMW Apparel is a line of inspirational and entrepreneurial clothing for those looking to stand out and make a statement to their following. We provide comfortable and high-quality t-shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, and more. Enter code 2mics2glasses, which is the number 2, MICS, the number 2 again, GLASSES, with no spaces, for 10% off your first order at shopwithamw.com. Link in the description. We appreciate your support. It's
That's
amazing.
so awesome.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. Like, you do the cooking, she does the baking. Like, that's, I don't know, I think that's so special.
Yeah. That's kind of like you, when you were, your mom is contributing or wants to help with your business too.
With the podcast?
No, like with your accounting firm or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She was like interested in learning bookkeeping and stuff. That was so sweet.
My mom offered to be a bookkeeper for my firm.
Oh.
And unfortunately, I did not have my life together to teach her anything, but I did make her an email that never got used. So I think Karizma's doing way better because she actually activated, her mom. But I think family business is great because you have so much trust. Like, do you have a strategy for what you're going to do when you need to hire more people? Or you said you already hired people. So, like, how do you choose who to hire? How do you test their skill, or if they're like a good fit to help you with whatever you have going on? Like, how do you do that?
So I'm still currently figuring that one out. But from my experience thus far, I would say, interview process is very important. Just to know, like, what people have experienced in the kitchen means a lot. Like, how much experience they have altogether, but are you used to dealing with customers, customer service? If you go to an event, do you know how to handle yourself? Then if someone's working for the kitchen, they usually will come in and do like a chef test. So it's, in the culinary world, it's basically before you get a job, you come in and you cook for, whoever you're trying to work for. The stipulation.
Oh, wow. How big does the meal have to be?
So, it really depends on who you're cooking for and what they're asking. I did a chef test once where I made, I think, like 3 different things. I did like little wonton wraps, a salad, and I think like an entree. So I made like 3 different things in the span of a few hours. I would just have them make 1 or 2 things based on whatever I have in the kitchen, like leftovers from events. Like if I have a couple pieces of salmon or chicken, like, okay, make me a dish with this stuff and see how it turns out. And so that would take.
So they have to use your materials. Yes. Like, you can't make them bring their own stuff.
No. It's I've never really had anybody ask to bring their own things, but I would just have them come into the commercial kitchen and whatever is here. I have a lot of equipment, so people usually just kind of wing it on the spot. But that means a lot. Like, how do you work under pressure? Like, if something goes wrong, will you be able to come up with a quick solution? Or it's just good to know, because even if you can't adapt, maybe you're trainable. So it's a lot hiring for the kitchen, and it's actually one of the biggest hurdles because I'll have people who start off good and then it won't really end well. So,
Oh, man. I know that has to be tough.
It is, yeah. And with food.
So you're...
I was just going to say, with food, it's easy to mess up. It's easy to lose clients off of one bad experience. People want to order from you anymore. So it's a lot.
Man, so you're hiring servers, sous chefs or chefs. Like, what is the difference? Do you normally just make the food in your kitchen, deliver it, or do you have gigs where you're like preparing some things but then cooking on site and like serving things super fresh?
Yeah.
Like, what do you normally run into, and like how do you prepare for each type of event?
So we do personal chef, which would be like going into usually somebody's home or some kind of venue with a full kitchen and cooking live, where we will present. No, it's a big date night. Like, that's how I started doing events like that. Like,
it's a great date night. I had it done for me once.
Yeah. Then like big parties, up to like 30 people we've done like in home. We did the barristers ball for UDC a couple years ago, and that was like 100 people, and everything was plated. So it was a lot of work. So yeah, I have to hire for serving staff, drivers. But a lot of times, like if I have a delivery driver, they can do an event as well. So they just are kind of on the schedule, and I'll let them know what kind of job it is, because we'll do a delivery where you just drop the food off, a delivery with setup. It's a delivery with setup, and then you go back and break it down. So we have like a lot of different options that people would choose from. But yeah, the process for, I would say, anything that's not live cooking, it's mostly just prep heavy. You just have to plan and prep. And then, I mean, the amount of people doesn't even matter as long as the prep is done.
Oh my gosh, it's like so tiring right now.
But
It's a lot of
Like just thinking about all the cooking.
yeah, it's a lot of
this is what she does, though.
I
You
know.
know, it's not. Well, I'm sure you've had tiring moments. I know, like sometimes when you're really into it because you're passionate about it, it kind of fuels your energy.
No,
Yes.
definitely. And I mean, I love it. And it at this point, it comes naturally to me. And I found my little, not shortcuts on quality, but the way I can move faster and efficiently in the kitchen. So, like my mom always tells me, like, you move so fast. And I'm like, I've just been doing this. So it's definitely easy now, but it's still a lot of work. Like, catering is a lot of work.
And that's what people are paying for is your expertise. Like from our perspective, from as accountants, a lot of people are like, well, what do you do that other people can't do? Like a lot of people believe that they can do their own accounting
Yeah.
and bookkeeping. And I'm like, go ahead. Because with us, you're paying for my knowledge and efficiency. I do things in a specific way so that you can see things in a specific way. Like when you don't understand that, you're not going to get the full value of my service. And I think it's
Yeah.
very similar. Like, can everybody cook? Well, no, everybody can't cook, but people who can cook, like I can't chop as fast as you. I can't.
Right.
I don't have the same techniques as you. So it's just like completely worth,
Yeah.
investing in your expertise,
Yeah.
especially for events and different things, because, do I want to cook dinner or do I want this? You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
about
It goes into the
understanding
easy
the
and hard
value.
thing. Like,
yeah.
you know how to cook, but do you want to cater your wedding? No. Like,
Like leave it to the experts.
right.
You know what I mean? Like
I know how to do stuff. Like I can do my bookkeeping, but do I want to do it now that I have like a 6-figure business? No, because it takes a lot of work and I don't get any joy out of it, and take me probably double, triple amount of time it takes you.
that's for real. It
Yeah.
would take you a long time. I love how you said that your mom notices how fast you do things, like how you have this specific expertise that makes you efficient and makes things better for your business. Like, I don't know, I loved that. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's, honest, that just made me think about, so speed or whatever. So obviously Karizma is a master at what she does, and we are masters at what we do, financial, accounting
I'll take
and
that.
marketing and web design. And a lot of times when you're a master, it's something that doesn't take you that long to do things that could take somebody else a long time. And sometimes because of that, people think that they should charge you less because it didn't take you that much time to, do whatever you were doing. But I think because you're so fast now, you should be being paid a premium, for how good you are. And
But
how
not for my
efficient.
event, for
Yeah.
other people's event. not for my Christmas, not for the event we talked about, for the other event.
Maybe my future wedding.
But no, seriously, you should, you charge. It should be a premium because, I'm good at this, and you're clearly good at this. Like, how long have you been in business?
So about 6 years, officially. Starting like freelance, like side work, I mean, maybe around 8. But yeah, 6 years on the books, like official business. I mean, little things like if you make sliders, line the pan with parchment so they don't stick. Like it's just small things like poke holes in the foil if the chicken is fried so it doesn't get soft. Like it's just small little things that will make a difference. People won't even realize. Like they might not even realize. Okay, if they had to do the event, things would go differently. But I mean, I've had clients who assumed, okay, well, if I order all this food, I'm going to get wire racks and this setup when it's a separate charge. So now I know, okay, just keep some of those in the car because people always forget that they need them. When you get there, you kind of have the problem solved for them already. So I have like a big transit van. So I keep like with shelves in it. So I'll keep like backup equipment. I do like to be the caterer that if something does go wrong, I have a solution for that. So a lot of my clients, like they don't expect to get like little place cards with their order, but it automatically comes. So they don't even have to think about, oh, I need like to explain what this dish is. It's just the little details. They just add up to create a quality experience.
That's so true. It is little things because that is something you would forget about.
Yeah.
And the poking the holes is how you keep the fried chicken from getting soggy. I feel like that is a trade secret. Don't tell nobody else that, girl.
Is it a pan or is it in the sheet?
Yeah, it's in the foil pans because if you put the top on, it kind of steams. Steam comes up and goes back down on the chicken, so it makes it soggy. Yeah.
And then you just have to have something under
Yes, so
for moisture.
Yeah, parchment or even like a piece of a paper towel, something to catch it.
Very smart.
I know.
Yeah. I want to ask you, because we kind of focus on, or our specialties are financial, accounting and marketing, I want to ask you some very specific questions in regards to those areas. The first one is, what systems are you using to manage the money that's flowing in your business? And two, what are you using to pay your employees?
So right now I use Square for invoices. I also use QuickBooks for like the bookkeeping and all that. And I mean, payment, still kind of figuring that out. I know Square has payroll, but I have yet to set that up. I usually use like Cash App or Apple Pay to send for payments.
Stop doing that.
What's wrong with Cash App and Apple Pay?
Is it bad?
I just hate it. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to not know like what it is if you don't
what the
code it
transaction
immediately. So like if you're very diligent with saying this is for so and so on this date for this many hours, then when you look back in your bookkeeping, hopefully it's connected to your business cards and not like another account, but like when you go back in your bookkeeping and look and you're like, oh, what was this Cash App transfer for? Like that happens all the time with like Zelle's, Cash App. What was it, the last one?
She said
Apple Pay. Oh, Apple Pay. Jesus. It's just like at the back end, are you putting it in the right bucket? Like, do you remember what it's for? So it just depends on the person sending. You sound like you have your life together. So you probably like putting the details you need so that later when you look at it and you're like putting it in the right deduction buckets, that it should be there. Also, but and it sounds like you have like all contractors then if you're sending it that way.
Yeah,
right?
All contractors. Yeah.
What do you recommend instead?
I personally like to send payments through QuickBooks because you can ask for people's payment details without getting the actual details. Like the QuickBooks kind of keeps it so it like is secure. And then
QuickBooks for payroll or for invoicing?
QuickBooks does have payroll. So you can invoice through QuickBooks, you can do payroll through QuickBooks, but you can also pay people through QuickBooks. So I like to pay people through QuickBooks because it's connected to my system. So I create a bill, I pay the bill. It'll tell me bills that are outstanding. Like if someone sends me a bill and I still owe them, like I can see and it'll remind me that I need to pay this person. And then also you can do like timesheets and stuff in QuickBooks. I also like Gusto. So if you're looking for a payroll system, Gusto is great. It'll like file your quarterly things for you. I mean, QuickBooks does too, but I like Gusto a lot. But if you are looking to bring on employees and you need to like track taxes and things like that, I would do the systems. But I mean, it's a preference. It's not like she's not doing anything illegal. Yeah. It's just a preference from a bookkeeping perspective because I feel like I'll look at people's books. Like let's say I'll look at Adrian's. I'll just use you as an example. And you're sending a Zelle. I always have to text you like, what's this for?
Yeah.
Because I can't.
And it's tough too. Sometimes I receive, like sometimes my clients are like, hey, can I send this to you via Zelle? And then I created a business Zelle. But it's still like, what is this payment?
Right. And if they don't put what it's for and then you don't remember what it's for, I'm like, okay, so this is payment to you from a client. What
It's
could
very
that
convenient,
be?
though.
And it's convenient, but it's like you have to set up the system. So I think you were talking about systems and like how to protect yourself and things like that. Like setting up systems on how to do things makes it easier. Sorry, I'm going on a whole rant. This is not about me.
Well, she got a couple recommendations.
Taking notes. You're good.
Yeah. If you need help, let me know. Just hit me up, girl. We can barter because I need a catering.
I'm sure you need a personal chef. That would be awesome.
A personal chef?
Date night, personal chef.
That would be so dope.
It's so nice.
I owe DeAndre something. I've been treating him pretty bad lately.
Her husband.
Husbandes. Yes.
Okay, so that was part one. Part two of my question is now about marketing. So what are you doing to market your business? And specifically, I want to know about like social media marketing and let's say email marketing.
Well, we know she's cold calling.
Yeah, and she's cold calling. So that's like a sales tactic.
That's mad respect because that's courage.
So,
yeah.
For me, I don't do any marketing right now. Like social, I used to be active on social. It didn't seem to get the attention of the type of clientele that I was looking for. So I kind of stopped with social. I got a lot of like personal chef gigs from that. And that was cool for the time I was doing it. But now I'm like, more so looking at like corporate clients, bigger events, and in my experience, I haven't, been connected with a lot of people through social looking for those things. Um, a lot of my clientele comes from word of mouth or they find me on Google. I do have 5 stars on Google, which I'm very proud of.
She does. She has a lot of reviews.
Because you think of the little things.
Customer service.
Yeah, like
and your food is
thank you. Yeah, it's 5 stars is hard to. I mean, it's hard to get people to leave a review nowadays. Like out of 10 events, I might get 1 or 2, maybe. Yeah, so I mean, Google, word of mouth. I would say that those are the main ways I get business, and it's steady, which is if I do start marketing, business might get crazy. Who knows? I'm open to it. It's just something I haven't explored yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. And one of the things that basically you said for me, because I have sales and marketing background, is that you are mainly focused on sales and like lead generation. So marketing a lot of times is like can be a long-term strategy. Like you have people in your lists, email lists, and you're sending this, or you have people you're following or following you on social media. And sometimes it could take a while to actually like get a lead. But if you have a sales approach too, and you're trying to get a lead immediately, what she's doing with the cold calls is a great strategy. And power to you. I hate cold calling or whatever. I get so much anxiety with it, but it works.
A lot of people have anxiety with cold calls.
Yeah, I have my moments where I'm like, I do not want to do this, but some people are actually interested when calling. So, it's up and down.
And it sounds like it's worth it, especially for the type of business you're doing and the amount of competition that exists in your field. I think a lot of people believe that they can be caterers, and I don't know if they realize how much work it really takes. Like the organization you have to have, you have to be super prepared. Like, do you have a dedicated vehicle, or because you have to have so much equipment, you have to, you have to have
transporting the food.
To transport the food, to keep it warm or keep it cold. Like, do you have a refrigerated or truck or something? I don't know. I'm just assuming. Like,
how did you handle that like earlier in your career with transportation?
Earlier in the career I guess I kind of just grew with my business because I was using my personal car for years. I think it was 2020 that I got a transit van, and it's life changing. It's so helpful. Like just the chafers alone, like the metal things that hold the food and keep it hot. Those take up so much space. I have a sedan, so not a lot is going to fit in there regardless, but the transit van it's huge. And we use these, we call them hot boxes. They're about like this big. They keep food at temperature, whether it's hot or cold. We have a lot of those. The car isn't refrigerated, but with the temperature control boxes, we make it work. But yeah, the van, I had my mom give me a lot of equipment. There was a woman who went to her church who also had a catering company, and she gave me like a bunch of Schaefers. And Schaefers are expensive. They're like, I mean, they can go up to like 200 per, just based on how fancy it is. Yeah, so
Those are those the big pans
It's like, remember what we had at the
or
party a
the
few weeks ago,
stands
like the
too?
stands with the food,
Oh,
the metal
Not-
ones.
yeah.
That
not the wire.
not the
Not the
cookout
foil
ones.
one.
Not the cookout ones. The real with the they have a real top that goes on it and
Yeah.
everything.
So fancy and nice.
Yeah, they do look nice too. And like, I know that I recently did a birthday party for myself, and I was like, we do events all the time, and I don't want the wire ones anymore. I was being extremely bougie, so I was like looking for chafing, and like I was looking at first at the professional nice ones, and I was just like, we're gonna have to get these little Amazon joints because
Yeah. Pricey.
which obviously doesn't work for you because you're doing heavy duty, you want things to last a very long time, and those do not look like they are very long.
And she's doing like high-end corporate
high
events.
end, yeah.
and
Like
stuff,
you probably want fancier looking ones. Like mine looked better than my cookout ones that I was using before. So I know that it's pricey and you have to invest in that stuff. So the lady that gave you some, how long did they last you? Do you have to replace that stuff often?
Every couple years. They get banged up, just wear and tear. They kind of lose their shine, get marks. But the one she gave me lasted, I would say, at least 2, maybe 3 years.
Nice. That was great. Well, Karizma, I think we're coming down to the wire of your
I had
interview.
so many more
I
questions.
know. This is amazing. I've learned so much. And I'm about to hire you for real.
Yeah, girl. Seriously.
Can you give the audience some words of advice? So, like I mentioned earlier, the series is called, how do you get started? How do I get started? So, someone that's trying to get started in personal chef and or catering, what would be some tips?
A few tips I would say, when you're first starting out, don't be afraid to sacrifice, even if it's just time or not going out that weekend. It takes a lot of focus to build a business. It takes sacrifice, it takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. There will be a lot of obstacles if you stick with it, and customer service is key. You can build something amazing. Yeah, I guess that's my advice.
Love it. That's great advice. Great
It is.
advice.
Dedication, consistency,
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a testament to how successful you are. So,
And young.
I know. You're one of our youngest guests. So, shout out to. I don't know. You're a millennial?
I just
Gen
turned
Z,
30 a
millennial?
couple weeks ago. So.
Aw, happy
little
birthday.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Happy
that's the
birthday.
same as us. Sorry, millennial. Are you
You're
considered
like
millennial?
a young millennial, right?
I'm a millennial. Yeah.
No, but it's awesome. I think the biggest thing that I got out of what you just said was about the sacrifice of going out or your weekend. I think that's something that a lot of younger people could really heed that advice for success, so that they could, if they want to be successful at an earlier age, they do need to take those sacrifices. I know both me and you have done it too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we learned, the older we got, we learned that. But I feel like around 29, 30, we're still out here trying to live our best lives and probably could have sacrificed a little bit more,
Yeah, maybe we'd be richer.
I know, because we was spending money on drinks instead of spending money on hiring help.
I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, great advice. It's really dope to see you, doing so well. But how can people get in touch with you if they want to work with you or, follow you or anything? Can you share that information with us?
Sure. So on Instagram, it's Have Some Charisma. I'm also on Facebook. Have Some Charisma there. I also have a website. That's the best way to reach me. I have a quote request form that you can fill out if you want to get a quote or just any more information, but it's havesomecharisma.com.
Awesome.
Karizma, we normally end with a toast. So what are we toasting?
Toasting.
What would you like to toast?
I mean, I kind of want to toast to you guys for having me. I really appreciate this. It's my first time doing anything like this. I'm really excited. So
you're amazing.
I know. We're so happy to have you.
All right. Cheers to entrepreneurs promoting other entrepreneurs.
Yes.